morning, everybody. It's Hammer. Today is Friday, February 7th, 2025. I, of course, am here with your daily mortgage rate update, the only place on the web where you get to join me live each and every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time as I come to you broadcast and telling you what's going on in rates markets. A lot to unpack today. We had the BLS jobs data. I'll go into what happened and what effect that's having on rates and what we want to do with locking or floating heading into next week. So stick around and stay tuned. If you're here live, say good morning. If you're watching on the replay, don't forget, all I ask is that you give me a hashtag replay in the comments. Let me know that you were here. Whether you're here live or on the replay, don't forget, if you're on Facebook, smash that like button. Maybe tag an originator friend. Maybe share this in one of the groups, Mortgage Pub, Brokers Are Best, Mortgage Loan Officer Network. Just click the little share button and share it. I appreciate it. And you know what? Everyone thinks everyone else is going to do it. Nobody does it. So just share one for me. I appreciate you. If you're on YouTube, don't forget, give it that thumbs up on there. I know it's a little harder on the phone. Make sure you leave some comments. It all helps in the algorithm, and I appreciate you guys helping us grow and do the show. So anyway, if you would like to sign up for reminders when I'm going live each day, if you don't want to depend on social media, on YouTube, on Facebook to remind you and let you know that I'm here, check us out at hmmr.io/reminder. Go ahead and sign up, and you can unsubscribe anytime, but get a free text message with an alert and the links so you can hop on and be reminded that I'm going live. So appreciate you joining and doing that as well. Let's go ahead and say hi to all the live folks. Who do we got here this morning? Let's go ahead and say hi. Got a question of the day for you this morning. Let me go ahead and pop that up there. What emoji do you use the most? Of course, you know mine, right? Look at this. Right? It looks just like me. They're missing the facial hair though. I don't know if they don't know how to do facial hair on emojis. When I posed for this one, they missed that part. So maybe that's the only thing, but of course that is the emoji I use. So let me know what emoji you use. We'll circle back at the end of the show. We'll talk about what emoji is your favorite emoji, which emoji you use the most. So in the meantime, let's say good morning to all of my friends here. We got James Mahan. Buenos dias, sir. Great to see you. Monica Dinkins, good morning. Let's see who else we've got here. Angela Walters, great to have you here. Mike Tebow, good to see you, sir. Hope all is well. Dan Crowley, again, thank you for joining as always. Megan Lindberg, good morning. Mallory Fotiadis, great to have you here. Kenny Rivard, good to see you. Yasmin Martin, hello. Amy Blauser, good to see you as well. Glenn Boussard, bringing us the heat. Way too hot out there in Arizona, my friend. Derek Weibel, good morning. Kyle Bazikas, great to have you here as well. Michael Love, good to see you. Monica Dinkin, oh, there you go. Y'all are Benoit. Good morning. Mike Morano, happy Friday, my friend. Ron Siegel, good morning, sir. Ron Siegel says today is National Fettuccine Alfredo Day. It probably tastes good, but I don't need it. I don't need a lot of fettuccine Alfredo. What about y'all? Let me know in the comments. So question of the day today, what emoji do you use the most? So do me a favor, go ahead, stick in the comments. We're going to circle back and we'll talk about what emojis y'all use. So I'm going to pop that on here and let's go ahead and let's get started and dig into the good stuff here. So there we are. Share the screen. All right, let's get started. So taking a look here at mortgage-backed securities, they're down 13 basis points on the day. The reason for that is because of the jobs data. We're going to break that down in more detail in a minute, but real quick, what effect does this have on pricing? Generally, pricing is going to be a little bit worse today than it was. It basically washes out the gains that we saw on Wednesday and Thursday. So if we go ahead and take a look at rate sheets, let me go ahead and adjust this here, put that there, put that there. All right, so if we take a look here, what does that do? Basically we had seen 7.05 for like forever, and then we did break through, and just yesterday I switched to a cautiously floating stance because of the outlook of what we were seeing and opening the door to how this jobs data was going to be received. And we have seen a little bit of improvement, so it'll bring us back up. I mean, 7.05 is probably an exaggeration. 7.03 maybe. Again, it is only 13 basis points. It's not terrible. So if you take a look at where we ended the day on, it was the 4th, that was Wednesday or Tuesday, right? Yeah. So if you look at where we were on Tuesday, we ended the day 100.81, a little bit worse than where we're at right now, which means your Wednesday morning pricing came out and it was right around that 100.90 ish area. So not too far off. So when you look at Wednesday's rate sheets, Wednesday was the 5th. I mean, we shouldn't be that far off. We saw a little bit. Rate sheets didn't really push that much improvement yesterday. So because we were down a little bit on the day yesterday, after peaking on Wednesday. Here was Thursday, and today is Friday. So let's take a look at the 2-day and dig a little deeper here. You can see that there was some movement as we were hitting into that. Of course, the jobs data, right as that's hitting, we hit our lowest levels. They recovered and actually went positive on the day, just a little bit. Then they dropped, and that's kind of where we're at. And we're seeing a little bit of recovery now. Things are nice and calm. So hopefully reprice risk on the day. I'm going to say reprice risk on the day is moderate. Let me go ahead and type this in. I'm sorry, I didn't have this ready ahead of time. I'm going to say reprice risk on the day is moderate. The reason that I think it's moderate is because we do sometimes see some afternoon movement after these jobs reports come out. And right now, we're seeing a little bit of improvement, which is good. But if we do start to see any selling, it could pick up. So reprice risk is moderate. We want to start the day cautiously floating and see how the day goes. Cautiously float and see how the day goes. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this up here. Last chance. For you, go ahead and tell me what emoji do you use the most, or what's your favorite emoji? Put it in there. But we're going to say cautiously float. Let's see how the day goes. Okay. There is still a bit of a trend that we're moving. So let's kind of dig deeper. Let's break down, first of all, what happened in the jobs data. You know what? I'm in the middle of working on the email for that'll go out. So let's actually use this as a perfect summary. So rate sheets today will get back to pricing gains we saw the last couple of days, but we shouldn't see rates jump. That's the good news. Reprice risk on the day is moderate. Things look pretty stable now, but sometimes we see a resurgence of volatility later in the day following the jobs report. The outlook is not as rosy for rate sheets as it was yesterday. The jobs data did land a blow that will knock the wind out of rate sheets, at least temporarily. Next week's CPI inflation data is the next big thing to focus on. Now, breaking down that BLS jobs data summary that we got, there were so many things that we were hitting onto. We have how many number of jobs created. We've got the unemployment number. We've got the average hourly earnings. And then we have the revisions, the annual revisions. Okay. So new jobs created came in at 143,000. That was much lower than the 169,000 that was expected. Normally, this would be good for bonds. It shows the labor market is softening. There's less jobs created, but it was offset by other factors, including the numbers for November and December. The last 2 months, previous 2 months, they were actually revised upward by 100,000, meaning that the reports that we got were low and there were more jobs created than what was expected. So that kind of really, really took the wind out of the sails when it comes to any improvement we would have seen from this number. The next thing is the unemployment number. Now, remember, the new jobs created, they get that number because they survey businesses. The unemployment number, they survey households. It's a household survey. All right. Unemployment came in at 4.0, dropping from 4.1. Markets were actually expecting this could go up due to the use of new census data. They were using new census data that had immigration, more migrants in it. There was talk that we could see this unemployment number jump up. And if it did, it probably would have been discounted because of the census data. This was bad for bonds, showing strength in the labor market. It's just kind of the way that works out. Average hourly earnings rose 0.5%, which means people are making more money. That's a number that can contribute to inflation. If people are making more money, they're spending more money, and that's why this is something that's considered bad for bonds, bad for rate sheets. Annual revisions to the 2024 totals showed the job growth was 589,000 jobs lower than initially reported. Now, that sounds like a huge number, and it is, but if I remember correctly, historically, it's around 400,000 that they usually find that by the time they get, they keep analyzing the data. Remember, they report the data. They somehow keep revising. That's why we get revisions for November and December. We constantly get revisions, right? The idea, though, was that we would have seen 818,000 jobs, which would have been the most since 2009, that there were that many more jobs lower, right, than initially reported, that there were that many fewer jobs created. And 818,000 is a much larger number than 589,000. So this actually is bad for rates and pricing, bad for bonds. Overall, this is not a good report for bonds and rates. It shows the labor market is solid, and while signs of a labor market weakness would support a Fed rate cut, well, when you have labor market strength, it really shows that everything can stay the way that it is. So when we take a look here and see what is the expectation of a Fed rate cut, there's no expectation at all that we're going to see a cut at that March, meaning when it gets to May, the expectation of a rate cut about 30%. So there's still, a lot of trading. But how does that change compared to the last few weeks? You can see it's much higher, that things will stay pat at this 4.25 to 4.5 level. So, a week ago, yesterday, we were at 60%. And today we're at 70. So that's a very, very good indicator. When it gets to June, markets do believe that we are more likely to have a rate cut by June or at the June meeting than not. All right. So there's a 60% expectation that we'll see at least one rate cut by that June meeting, only a 40% probability that rates will remain where they're at now, that the Fed will not cut rates. But once again, what kind of a difference is that? A week ago, there was a 33% probability that the Fed would not cut rates. Yesterday, there was a 35%. Today, 41%. So you're seeing that this labor report did have an effect on how markets are betting on Fed rate cuts. And as we get to the end of the year, again, it's higher on these numbers that make less cuts. No cut at all has increased. One cut has increased. And then 2 cuts, 3 cuts have decreased. So that's what we're seeing as far as that goes. As far as actual rate sheets, again, you're not going to see too much devastation. I mean, we're down right now 19 basis points, which is probably not going to hold up too bad. When rate sheets come out, they're not going to be the best. Not going to be the best of the week, but they're certainly not terrible. We're not seeing rates jump a quarter point. We've seen labor market reports where we've seen bonds that lose 60, 70 basis points. So we're not seeing that. 10-year treasury yield needs to get some attention. 4.49, still below that 4.5 mark. However, take a look here. It's still below that 50-day moving average, this red line, which is going to act as support. Remember, yields go up, that's bad. Yields go down, that's good. It's the opposite of what we're looking for here at mortgage-backed securities in these charts. And I'll come back here in a minute. But when we look at this one, we're seeing 10-year treasury yield come up and test this 50-day moving average, which so far has held steady. Now, on Wednesday, it was 4.42. Thursday, 4.43. So we are up a little bit at 4.49, but we've seen, this could fall down to 4.45 by the end of the day, depending on traders' wins and how things go and how that breaks down. Taking a look here at the technicals, we knew the technicals were going to take a back seat to the data. How has this affected us? The last couple of days, you can see here, mortgage-backed securities have been unable to improve and break through this 100-day moving average, this green line. And this green line is trending very swiftly lower. Okay, so when you're looking at forecasting, where do we go heading next week, depending on data? Remember, we got CPI inflation data. So depending on how that CPI inflation data comes out, you're going to if that CPI inflation data shows more inflation or inflation's not going down, that's going to see mortgage-backed securities drop lower. That's bad for bonds, bad for us, bad for rates. If we were to see numbers that come in as expected, markets are happy with that. The question is, would it be enough to break through what we will see as new technicals? The 200-day moving average, you'll notice, is getting close to converging at the 100-day moving average. These are going to come together right here around this 100.97, 101 area that we see here. So you're going to see them right around that 101 mark. Right now, the 200-day moving average, 100.93. The 100-day at 101.01. So we're going to come down around 100.97-ish. They're going to start to come together here. And there's a very good chance that we could see mortgage bonds below that. Now, again, we're cautiously floating to start the day, but we've really got to take all of this into consideration. If we see some signs of some reversal, we see improvement here in mortgage bonds by the end of the day, maybe we consider floating into next week. The question is, do we want to see the CPI inflation data? Loans that close 15 to 30 days out, yes. In the near term, if we just look at the technicals to me are pointing out that we're going to be moving in a lower direction. But again, I said that back here when it looked like we were falling below the 50-day moving average, this red line. And what happened? Well, we popped back above it and broke 2 days above it. So the technicals don't always tell you the truth. This ended up providing support, even though, again, even we were on Tuesday. We started the day, we opened at 100.60, which was down here. It was basically right about here. We fell all the way to 100.49 before we bounced back up. Why did we bounce back up on Tuesday? Remember, we talked about that. And Wednesday, what brought up that data. So the different things going on here, it doesn't always go the way that we forecast, but this is a little bit of a bad omen. This could push us a little bit lower. Right now, we're down here though at 100.85. So we necessarily, even if we get up to 100.97, it is better than where we're at right now. So there could be some capping to how much we improve, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to be pushed all the way down and test the red line, which is the 50-day moving average at 100.65 ish. So we don't have to worry too much about that. Let's talk about your comments again. Let's have some fun. What emojis do you use the most? I'm going to go ahead in the chat. Let's see what y'all had to say, and we'll talk about it. Not very much of you guys talking. Ron said downward revisions of 598,000 on benchmark revision. Surprise, surprise. The BS report from BLS was wrong so much last year. Oh, come on. Given fairness, these reports are wrong a lot more than just last year. They're wrong all the time. Here's a question for you. And again, I don't want to have too much. I'm just going to have a little bit of fun with this. You guys will hear my own political or I don't know, whatever kind of beliefs bleed through. Of course it's going to happen. And we don't have to agree on everything. I don't know why everyone thinks that we have to agree on everything. I do like some things that Trump does, but I'm not a Trump supporter. I think that what he's talking about doing in the Gaza Strip is insane, but maybe he knows a lot more than I do. I like not getting it. But here's the thing I wanted to ask. So do you think that Trump will take credit for the 4.1 unemployment? Will we see anything where he's like, my first day in office, my first month already, employment's getting better? Like, do you think he's going to take credit for that? And do you think he deserves credit for that? I don't think the president deserves. I don't think they deserve the blame or the credit they get on a lot of different things. There's going to be a lot of shakeup. So he's done a lot of shaking up this last couple of weeks as he's just gotten into office. But obviously, I don't think he had anything to do with this data here. This had a lot more to do with the census data. What was the participation rate? Participation rate, the share of the population that is working or looking for work, was 62.6% in January, which also incorporated the updated population estimates. I don't remember what the participation rate was before. I wish they would have just told us here. That would have made the life a lot easier. But that's still very high. The rate for workers aged 25 to 54 was 83%, which is good. Yeah, so I agree, right, Ron? You don't have to agree on everything. You just got to be respectful. And I don't think we should agree on everything. I love to hear other people's opinions. Sometimes I change my own mind. Sometimes my mind changes when I talk to my friends and they tell me different things. I also don't think it has to be 100% all the time. Like, I can like some of the things that Trump does and not like other things. I don't think I have to support him in everything, right? So, that's kind of how it is. But we've seen the loss. But anyway, we're not here to have that. TGIF, baby. Let's go ahead and have some fun with the day. 62.5 before. Thanks, my man. Ron says it was 62.5 before, so the new one was 62.6. So it's still right there, which is good. All right, let's talk about what was your emoji. What emoji do you use the most? Let's have some fun with them. I see that Yasmin's using the smiley face with the little dimples and the rosy cheeks. Randy Teakle, he was already using some. Let's see, I'll come back to you, Randy. We got Monica Dinkins. She likes the purple hearts. That is her favorite or most used emoji. Benoit is a thumbs up kind of guy. Thumbs up, baby. Did you notice how emojis can really change between generations too? Like, the ones that I thought meant normal stuff, and they're like, oh, you can't do that. And I'm like, what do you mean, Gen Z, you weirdos? And then the Gen Alpha, I don't get it, right? Mallory, Megan says the crying, laughing emoji is her favorite one, the one she uses the most. Mallory's got, see, like the one, like to me, this is like confused in days, like it got hit in the head. And this is like, oh no, like when you're looking at it like a horror movie. And then, of course, the laughing and the rolling laughing. Randy Teakle, he is using the glasses guy and the fire. That's his favorite. So would love to know what is yours. The Suns, Monica Dinkins is the Suns. Ron said they said this is the final numbers from the Biden admin. Okay, yeah. So, but it doesn't mean that Trump won't try to take credit for it. It's just that's kind of the way he is a narcissist. Come on, man. A wrecking ball will always have mixed reactions. There you go. So, all right, my friends. Well, I hope you all are having a fantastic weekend planned. I am going to be bouncing around like crazy. I go snowmobiling next week, and then I'm back for a few days. And my new barn office is being built. And then I will be going to Mexico. So I have so many things going on. This is my last weekend here at the house to get some things done. Almir says, I use this one the most now, the crying one. Most clients this year I spoke to, I have to tell them they don't qualify for a loan. Wait, where is it? There it is. Sorry, I was. I know that does suck. I'm telling you, I think 40-year mortgages. I think 40-year mortgages. I think there's going to be a push for that this year. If affordability continues to be a factor, I don't know if it'll get any talk, but to me, I think it's a natural evolution. I know a lot of people would disagree with me, but basically, we are in a world of payments. People live on payments. We don't pay anything off, if you will. So that's a deeper conversation. We'll save for later, though. Yasmin Martin, she does the smiley face with the dimples. It looks like you, Yasmin, with the dimples. Ron does the laughing memoji, which is the Apple thing, the memojis. Yeah, we should share those sometime. All right, my friends. Well, you guys have a fantastic one. I will see you next week on Monday, and have a fantastic weekend. All right, take care of yourselves. I'll see you on Monday.